Welcome to Returning to Soul, a podcast for lawyers and other high achievers seeking deeper meaning, purpose, and fulfillment in their work and lives. My name is Jessie Brown. I practiced law for 15 years before becoming a career alignment coach and purpose guide for lawyers and other high achievers. I also work as a meditation teacher, breathwork facilitator, sound healer, and forest bathing guide, and I facilitate nature-based retreats in Arizona. In this podcast, we explore what it means to return to our soul, to discover and live our true purpose. Today, we're exploring the concept of true motivation and what's really driving us when it comes to our work. Physician, author, and trauma expert Gabor Maté defines true motivation this way, quote, knowing that I do what I do not because someone wants me to do it or because I believe someone will respect or like me for doing it, not because some inner voice tells me I should do it, and not because I am asserting my independence by defying someone who forbade me to do it. What I do satisfies me, regardless of what others may think. As long as I am not deliberately injuring someone else, knowingly causing them harm, I will honor my preferences and inclinations, even if others will feel disappointed in me. True motivation means doing work that satisfies you, regardless of what others think. It means your work aligns with your genuine preferences and inclinations. It means you have a deep sense of confidence that what you're doing is right for you, not because anyone told you so, but because you feel it. When we're working from that place, our work feels meaningful. We aren't seeking validation, and the work itself is rewarding. So, when you think about the work you do every day, is it coming from true motivation? Or is it coming from somewhere else? Because when our motivation comes from something other than our true self, we tend to make career choices to please and appease others, or to earn respect and approval, to gain a sense of belonging, to quiet that inner voice telling us what we should do, or to prove to others that we can do it. These motivations are common, especially among high achievers, but they lead us away from work that actually fits who we are. We end up unfulfilled and dissatisfied in our career, wondering why success doesn't feel the way we thought it would. So here's a simple test you can try. Think about the work you do each day. Not your title, not your paycheck, but the actual work itself, the way you spend most of your waking hours. Does it interest you? Does it feel meaningful to you? Does it align with your preferences and inclinations? Does it satisfy you? Rewards like bonuses and promotions feel good in the moment, and they're nice to have. But they don't provide that lasting fulfillment that comes from doing work you are genuinely drawn to. So I'm curious, when was the last time you felt truly fulfilled by the work itself, not the recognition that came with it? As a career alignment coach and purpose guide, I've worked with lawyers and other professionals in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And what I often see is high achieving people who chose certain jobs or careers or stayed in them for reasons other than true motivation. Let me share a few stories with you. I once worked with a 55-year-old successful in-house lawyer. He had a great job, he enjoyed his work, he liked his colleagues, and he had the work-life balance that he wanted when he worked in large law firms but didn't have. But he reached out because he was considering leaving his company to pursue a general counsel role somewhere else. And the GC at his company was young and wasn't leaving anytime soon. So when we explored what was driving him to leave such a great job to pursue a general counsel title, it came down to one thing. He hoped he would finally earn his parents' respect and approval. I also worked with a woman in her 50s who wanted to leave law, but she said she couldn't bring herself to do it because of fear of letting her father down. He was also a lawyer, and he had strongly encouraged her to become a lawyer many years earlier. So this desire for her father's approval was keeping her stuck in a career that she found draining and stressful. I also worked with a woman in her late 20s who became a lawyer because her mother, who had immigrated to America as an adult, had always dreamed of being a lawyer herself. Her mother took the bar exam several times, but English was not her first language and she never passed. And so her daughter became a lawyer in her honor. but she finds the career deeply misaligned with her true nature and the life she wants to live. So I'm curious, do you see yourself in any of these stories? Maybe not the details, but the pattern of looking outside yourself for direction and approval. Since both of my parents died when I was in college, I didn't choose to become a lawyer to please them, but I was highly driven by the desire to earn respect, to be considered, important, and to have financial security above all. So I didn't really connect with my true motivation until my 40s. In my 30s, I thought I wanted to be a law firm partner. I was on that track, and then a friend of mine who's an equity partner asked why I wanted to be a partner. It was a simple question, and he asked it without any judgment. And that question sent me on a journey of self-discovery. And ultimately, I decided to pursue what my firm called a senior counsel role rather than partner. I realized that I wanted to be a partner because I viewed it as important, high status, and I wanted a sense of belonging. I had friends who were partners at my firm, and I wanted to join the club. But when I asked my friends who were partners how they spent their days, I realized this was not how I wanted to spend what poet Mary Oliver calls my one wild and precious life. So I began my journey to discover my true motivation. So why do so many of us lose our connection to our true motivation? Research shows that when we grow up feeling unconditionally loved and accepted, simply for existing, not for what we achieve, we feel safe to explore the world. We feel safe enough to discover what genuinely interests us. We feel safe enough to follow our true motivation. But when that sense of security and unconditional acceptance is lacking, we look outward. We begin to measure our worth by what others think of us. And this can happen for lots of reasons. It can happen when parents had high expectations that didn't align with a child's natural gifts. It can happen when the parents are distracted by economic pressures or high levels of stress or even marital conflict. And these things can take away from the parent's ability to be fully attuned and present to the child. This can happen when a parent struggles with depression themselves. And it can even happen when a child is praised and rewarded heavily for their achievements. So this can send the message that the child is valued for what they do and accomplish and not for who they are. Gabor Maté says that a child raised in these circumstances may grow up unable to experience the joy of acting from her own free choice. Her self-esteem will hinge on what she does, not on who she is. And even if she does succeed in the eyes of others, she'll usually be highly self-critical. So I'm curious how this lands for you. Do you recognize that inner critic inside who's never quite satisfied no matter what you accomplish? This conversation is not about blame. Talking about childhood is not about blaming our parents. They too were shaped by what they received or didn't receive in their own childhoods, and they did the best that they could with what they knew at the time. All of us are shaped by social and cultural norms and pressures that often take us away from what human beings need in order to thrive. So this conversation is simply about awareness. It's about understanding what has been driving your choices as an adult so you can decide if that's how you still want to live. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So when we understand where these patterns are coming from, something shifts. We can recognize that they may have once served us. They may have helped us to survive in difficult environments. They may have helped us belong, stay safe, or earn love or acceptance that felt conditional. We can honor them for that, and then we can choose to let them go. We can begin the work of getting to know and honoring our true preferences, our genuine values, our actual desires. So I want to leave you with this. What would it feel like to make a career decision based entirely on what genuinely interests and satisfies you, with no thought for what anyone else might think? If this resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're ready to start exploring what true motivation looks like in your own career, I invite you to download my free career alignment map. The link is in the show notes. And if you found this episode helpful or interesting, I'd love if you would rate and review the podcast and share it with a friend. So thanks for spending this time with me. This is Returning to Soul, and I'm so glad you're here. Until next time, be well.